once again to Mr. Sensible's channel. I, Mr. Sensible, and I'm supported by loads of you. The viewers, the commenters, my subscribers, and my patrons. I really appreciate the support of my patrons. Some of my newer patrons, Chris Kelling and David Cooley, John Bunker, and the newest patron, Sky Wizardless. Thank you all very, very much. I don't think I'd be able to keep going without the support of all of you guys. Thank you. Today, I'm going to look at someone who I haven't looked at before, the Flat Earth Brothers. And they're going to tell us a little something about comets. Go ahead, guys. Roll VT.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you're doing good. I wanted to talk about something that hardly anyone is talking about, and it's really random, I know, but I'm doing this for a reason, and it's because I was reading a comment on our last video, and someone asked a question about this comet. They said, I believe in flat Earth and have been doing a lot of research into it, but had a question about Halley's Comet and was wondering how you would explain that on a flat Earth.
Yeah, that is a good question. There's lots of other good questions, but yeah, let's stick to that one. How do you explain comets?
But I believe this thing was a real light in the sky. People did see it and looked at it. There's lots of pictures of this thing. Not as much as I thought they would be floating around, but there's decent pictures out there. You just got to look. And I found this first one here. This was actually the first picture of Halley's Comet from 1910. And since this thing is supposedly seen every 76 years and has been throughout history, from what we're told, this was lining up with the pictures we have 76 years later in 1986.
Well, there's a surprise. And if you check back historically, there are comets reported approximately every 76 years, which also happen to tie up with Halley's Comet.
And here is one from NASA, and this was a pretty good picture, and it does look like a real picture of stars. I've taken pictures of stars in recent times, and that's about what they look like. So I could believe this is probably a real picture of Halley's Comet.
Well, I'm so glad it's got your seal of approval.
And you can zoom in on it, look at it. Looks quite interesting, and the first thing I start thinking from new eyes and knowing there's a firmament there is, holy crap, this just looks like a light shining through the firmament.
What?
Some sort of sign, not sure what it would be for, biblically, what it would mean at all.
Well, it's not much of a sign if no one knows what it means, is it? Bit pointless, really. And why would the same sign need to be sent every 76 years?
But it was a really bright looking beam shining through the firmament. That's just what I thought, without looking at this thing with any preconceived notions about it being some sort of rock or what they call it, dust, gas, and ice that just glows in a vacuum as it flies by the Earth.
Well, it's not just glowing because it's in a vacuum. It's because it's being lit up by the sun. And it doesn't have to be near the Earth. Comets can be seen all through the solar system.
Really fast. So I don't know how the dust and gas and ice would glow like that. Maybe because it's moving really fast. We could probably try an experiment in the vacuum to see if things moving fast will glow like that.
There's nothing difficult here. It's just sunlight shining on an awful lot of gas and dust. So it's lit up.
But looking at it, many different pictures of it that I came across, most of them actual pictures of it. And again, to me, it looks like somebody's shining a flashlight into a lake, and you're underwater looking at the flashlight shining through, something like that.
I mean, I can see how you say it looks like that, and yeah, it does look like that. It doesn't mean it is that, though, does it? It just looks similar.
Here's one from December 13th of 85. So Halley's Comet, or I keep calling it Halley's Comet. That's what I thought it was called, but it's actually Halley's Comet. It was probably around in December and must have stayed there for a while because it was there in 86. So a little over a month it was visible in the sky at night.
Well, perhaps that gives you some idea of the scale of the solar system. Halley's Comet would have been speeding up on its journey into the sun and slowing on its journey away. But even so, it was visible for over a month. To the naked eye, a lot longer to telescopes.
Here's another picture of it, kind of fuzzy. Again, just wanted to show you some of the ones I came across. And here is not a picture of the comet, but just light rays shining through the atmosphere. And what really got my wheels turning was when I compared the pictures of this comet right here to light rays shining through water.
Well, if that don't beat all, cowboy. No wonder it got your wheels turning. That do look like a light shining through. You tell him, cowboy.
And holy cow, it looks exactly the same. And if you know anything about the firmament or the waters below or the waters above or anything like that, you know that it has some really cool properties.
The firmament, really cool properties, like, yeah, it's a get out of jail free card every time we come across something that doesn't fit.
And we know that it has something to do with why they are faking space and why they are spending so much time and effort faking space and getting really good at it and deceiving quite a bit of people, including me, for 33 of the 35 years of my life. I guess almost 34 years of my life. So quite a while I was tricked by these people, and I was kind of impressed by the trickery. But looking at this picture, to me, this is what I feel I'm seeing is a light shining directly through the firmament or in the firmament. It's some sort of sign, just like the luminaries for signs and for seasons, and I think it's really cool.
No, they're spending time and effort in order to learn about space, in order to explore, in order to educate. Although that seems to be going down the pan, doesn't it? And it might look cool to say it's a light shining through the firmament, but with no evidence, it's not worth jack.
Based on my observations from the videos and pictures I've come across, and I'm about to show you some really cool animations from NASA back in 1986. I was not aware that they had computer animation in '86, but it looks like they did. So watch this video real quick. This will be the last thing I show you.
The comet is the target of study for 5 exploratory spacecraft from Europe, Japan, and the Soviet Union, each whizzing by the giant snowball of ice, gas, and dust from different vantage points. The European Space Agency's Giotto spacecraft will be the most daring probe by taking a flight path just 300 miles in front of the comet's head.
Well, there you go. State-of-the-art CGI, circa 1980, whatever it was. And I remember the Voyager animations before that, which were just green dots. It does show you that with that standard of animation, they couldn't have faked the moon landings. It's not CGI. Anyway, coming back to this, these were the animations before the probes had approached the comets.
Giotto hopes to photograph the comet's nucleus. 2 other highly instrumented Soviet spacecraft, Vega 1 and Vega 2, are scheduled to fly by the comet at a distance of 6,000 miles, hoping also to obtain images of the comet's nucleus.
Why the hell would they take a picture of the Earth? These pieces of equipment were extremely expensive. Every ounce counted with weight that was lifted. They didn't need to take a picture of the Earth. We know what that looks like. They were designed to study Halleys Comet. When you go on holiday and you take loads of snaps, do you take a couple of pictures of your house as you leave?
Lastly, 2 Japanese spacecraft studying Halley are Planet A, which approaches the sunward side of Halley at a distance of 120,000 miles, and Sakigake, which will pass about 4 million miles from the comet.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the animations. I thought they were pretty spectacular for their time, and they were really good at putting those in our faces so we can see them constantly. And they have lots of animators working around the clock, and it's just crazy to me. If they're doing this for research, it just doesn't seem like they should produce so many really good animations all the time.
The animations are for the public, to keep them engaged, to show them what's happening, to help them learn something.
Get your thoughts. Not saying that I'm 100% right, but I do know that there is a firmament.
That's correct. You're not 100% right. And you don't know there's a firmament, not unless you've got some evidence. And if you've got evidence, why don't you show it to us?
If it is like they say it is, it will come around many years from now when I'm much older. I forget the exact year. I believe the year will be 2061 when the comet returns. So hopefully by then we'll have some really cool cameras, maybe the Nikon P12000 or something, and we can...
Well, optics are optics. I don't think you're going to get a camera that's going to get a closer shot than that telescope, or as close images as the probes that went past, like the Giotto probe. Here is a stunning image of Halley's Comet, the nucleus, as you can see the gas and dust streaming away from the surface, and images of the 4 comet nuclei that we have been able to visit and photo, and a beautiful colorized image of comet hale-bop showing its 2 tails. Why 2 tails? Well, one's more gaseous and the other is more dusty. The more gaseous one is affected more by the sun. Did you realise that the tail always points away from the sun, no matter the direction the comet's going, as you can see in this image? As the comet swings around the sun, so does the tail, and then on its journey out and away from the sun, the tail precedes the comet. And what happens to all this dust? Well, it carries on in the orbit the comet was taking, and occasionally the planet Earth passes through these trails of dust, and that gives us meteor showers. Well, Flat Earth brother waffles on a bit more with his total lack of understanding of comets and how they work, and then about the firmament, and then starts talking about God. So I'll leave him to that. It's just so sad. We've got predictive tables of when these comets will appear. Occasionally we get an unexpected comet, a long-term comet, and even rarer we get a comet that will only ever visit our solar system once, and it will loop off in a direction and never return. So we never know quite what's going to occur. And from these comets we get the dusty tails, and with some of them we pass, as I said, we pass through the tails of dust regular as clockwork, like the Perseids meteor shower, which you can check out, I think it's every August the 12th, and that is absolutely stunning when you see these flashes of these meteors in the upper atmosphere and realise that they're not much more than grains of sand, the burning remnants of comet turning to plasma. Stunning. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please don't forget to subscribe. Just click Mini-Me down in the corner. Until next time, guys, stay sensible.
Shut up and sit down.